Hello and welcome to Lionheart XO. Um, Something a little different today. I've been doing a couple of Yu-Gi-Oh deck lists, but today I thought I'd do a little deck list on a game I play called Gwent from The Witcher 3. One of my favorite card games, and actually got me back into playing cards since they've released a physical release. It's it I just had to go get it and start playing it with all my friends. I've played it a couple of times, and on my PlayStation, I've just dedicated a playthrough to just playing Gwent. It was yeah, the storyline can take a subside. I'm very much the Gwent enthusiast. Um, but yeah, my favorite deck to play is obviously Northern Realms for those who are familiar. For those who are not familiar with the game, I would recommend going and learning it because it is a lot of fun. There are broken cards. It's not really. It's a lot simpler to learn than Yu-Gi-Oh, and you don't you. It's like an even exchange, and it's really well balanced. I find. Um, every deck has its like niche and what it does, and yeah, I would heavily recommend it. Um, anyway, I will explain what each card does, and I will get into my deck list. So, starting off with my 22 plus, because it's more than 22 cards, but you need to have a minimum of 22 units in your deck. According to the game rules. There's also a new format. This is a video game. This is what I would play in the video game, but with the new TCG thing, it's not quite the same as the video game. So what you have, uh, the rules will be slightly different. I'll do a different deck list for a different day, but for now, Northern Realms is my favorite deck to play in the Witcher game video format, and we'll get into it. I play 3 Blue Strike Commando. They have an ability called Tight Bond, which means when they're all together, they +4 to each other. So if there's two of them on, they both become 8. If there's three, they all become 12. It's quite a broken ability, and it just gets you more points on the board. It's just handy to have. You want as many power cards as you can because power cards are the way to play. Vanilla cards are they're okay in some scenario, but mostly you just want to stick to your power cards to get the full effect. Anyway, so that's the Blue Strike Commando. I play same ability, 3 Crin Crinfrid Reavers Dragon Hunter. First time reading the names, I just call this the Archer guy. But they have the same type bond. They are worth a point more, so they become 15 when they're all together. So that's 45 points altogether on your board, which is actually insane. And for the last of the type bond, um, it's 2 catapult. Unfortunately, in the game, I think you can get 3, but in real life, they only give you 2. Um, but that's okay. In the game in the physical release format, it's slightly different, and you can only exceed a maximum of 130 points on the card. So you're gonna have to do some calculations there. But this is the video game. What I would play on the video game. Um, it's it's actually kind of cracked when you do it, especially with this deck, which I'll show you in a minute. Uh, Going on to my one-ofs. 1 Roach. Now, people who know the video game are like, why are you playing Roach? The reason being is he's searchable from the deck straight to the field if you play Geralt or Ciri, which you do because they are very powerful, and they're the main characters. Anyway, yeah, Roach just to have, and for my Yu-Gi-Oh players, what if you draw it? What if you draw it? In Gwent, you have a mulligans. So if you draw it, you send it right back to the deck and draw some others. You get to shuffle back 2 from your hand, put them back into the deck, and then draw 2 more, which is always nice. You know, as I always say. Anyway, my next one off, a cow. A cow. Yes. Why have I got a cow in the deck? The reason is his ability is insane. So, during turn 1, preferably, or turn 2, depending if you've won round 1 and are about to lose round 2, you summon the cow. Or deploy the cow, or whatever the terminology in Gwent is. You put him on the field. The round ends. He goes to the graveyard. He summons from what Yu-Gi-Oh players would know as your extra deck, but from a different two different cards that are not in your deck. Bovine Defense Force. Now, people from the game will know this is a reference to if you kill too many cows at the start of the game to get rich. The developers decided to put in a level 27 short to try and kill you, to stop you like breaking the game. So this is a reference to that, and it's actually insane. It's actually insane. So you've got those. Carrying on with my one-offs. Dandelion. Dandelion, basically, when he's in an attack row, so for those who don't know, you've got an attack row, a sword row, a archer row, and a catapult row. With the sword row, which is the warriors, you can, with Dandelion, you can double each of their attacks. So say if I've got my Blue Strike Commandos all on there, so they're all on 12, and I summon Dandelion, they all become 24. It's nuts. You have to be careful with some cards because some cards pop, but yeah, if that goes off, your opponent just goes, okay, unless they're doing the exact same thing with a different deck. But yeah, you've got that one. My one of, that's a power card. Another, this is a reborn unit with the heart. So reborn means bring it back from the graveyard after the round goes. So you can bring back the cow if you want. I doubt, but yeah, because you've already used your shorts by then. Dune Banner Medic. Yeah, she's just an instant reborn. And the best part is if you reborn her, she can then reborn another unit once she's on the field, because it's not once per turn or once from the hand. You can just go reborn, get another, and then there's just 5 extra points for you right there. My other one-off, the dragon. I'm not going to pronounce his name, so I'll just show you, because I tried in an earlier take and it didn't work. There you are. He's a dragon. I'll leave it there. Also calls himself Bork 3 Jackdaws. He's not the best at names. Very funny. I love that. Yeah, so what he does is if your opponent has 10 or more points and has an attack row monster, you can deploy him to the attack zone and then pop the highest ranked unit apart from heroes, which I'll show you hero cards in a minute. So he pops the highest value, and if both have the same value, he pops both of them. If they're both the highest. So that's why you've got to be careful with these units. Sorry, I just went out of focus there for a sec. But yeah, you got to be careful with the. Come on. Oh well. You got to be careful with these units. Especially with another card, which I'll get onto. But yeah, he's insanely broken if you're going against monsters, because monsters have very annoying cards, but they all summon in that zone. So you definitely want one of him. And the next one is my switcher. Ooh. Olgid von Everick. Now, he's from the Hearts of Stone DLC. Everyone knows him. I opt to save him. I don't know what you choose, but yeah. Whatever you choose, I like the character. I think he's quite misunderstood and dark, and but I just don't like what's his name? Oh, it's been a while since I played the game. I know him, Master of Mirror. What's his name? it's really escaping me. The deck's here. Oh, I can't even. It'll come to me. Master of Mirror, anyway. Basically the demon trying to take his soul and his heart. Um. So yeah, what he does is that he can be summoned into the attack or the he can be summoned into the attack or the archer zone. So you can choose where he goes, and he also, this ability lets you boost every unit up by 1. So if, say, you've got an archer, well, what's an archer unit? The cow, I think. Yeah. So say you've got a cow there, the cow becomes 1. Great. You know, it's what you really need. But if you put it in the attack zone, obviously, if you put it in him, the dragon becomes 8. So that's my one-offs. Moving on to the next part, and the reason you play this deck in the most part is the spies. These cards are insane. They're a bit unfair, but you know what? Who cares? It's always fun. Whatever deck plays spies, you want to max them out, because then you can just summon them to your opponent's field. That's why Tala's probably the best one. You summon them to their opponent's field, and then you get to draw 2 cards. So with that, you've got you get to draw 2 cards with spies, and you just keep drawing, especially with this deck, because this deck has a power as well. If you win the round, you get to draw a card from the deck. It's it's just drawing cards, and if you love drawing cards, this is definitely the deck in any game to play, unless you want to play Pot of Greed, Turbo, Exodia, FTK. But you know what? If you don't know Yu-Gi-Oh, sorry, but that's the best. But one thing you have to be careful. I will get onto it later, actually. With the reborn unit, you can reborn a spy, send it to your opponent, and then keep drawing, and it will just keep getting better. Now, moving on to my heroes. So these are the beef sticks that are unaffected by anything, and they are worth anything. The problem is, you can once they go to the graveyard, they stay in the graveyard. They cannot be reborn because they are unaffected by everything. So we're moving on to our classic characters. Vernon Roach. Some people say Roch. I think it's Vernon Roach because I think the game says it like Roach, but it's not spelt like the horse Roach. It's kind of confusing. Estrad Thyssen. I'm not familiar because I've only played Witcher 3 and I don't think he's in the game. But he looks to be a Northern King. He's the same as Roach. Attack unit, worth 10 points, always worth playing, unaffected by anything. Next we got Philippa Eilhart. She's the exact same, except she's in the Archie unit. She's quite good, especially with anything. Like just an extra boost into the unit. But the thing with these, if you have this and a non-unit and they summon the dragon in the archer zone, it pops that unit. So you have to be careful of that because these automatically make it 10. I've got John Natalis, which is another attack unit as well. Now, moving on to the main characters of Witcher 3. Those ones are Northern Realm specific ones. These ones are not Northern Realm specific ones, but you play them in any deck you can. So we've got Avalak, a spy that is unaffected by everything, so you get to draw 2 cards and your opponent cannot reborn him. So it really depends on the style you want to play. Arguably, I think he's the worst spy. He's good because your opponent doesn't get to play him. If you see only Avalak, that's good because then you can just send him. But I'd also argue that because of he's non-reusable, makes him the weakest spy. Because if your opponent sends him to your other side, your opponent draws, you get to use him again, and so on and so forth. With this card, you get the benefit, obviously, and your opponent doesn't. But I don't know. There's something that it goes with me that I prefer the regular spies. But yeah, that's just my style. That's just my style of play. I have one Yennefer of Vengerberg. She what she does is another reborn. So like I said, you could reborn and then reborn the other unit, reborn another, and it just keeps going. It's she's insane. You don't play Triss Merigold because for some reason, and I really wish they did something different. Triss is just a vanilla 7. She doesn't have an ability like these guys don't have an ability, but her unit is still 7. I would love the developers to make her a Scorch card at least, because she's she's not as powerful as Yennefer in the lore, but she's still a powerful witch in her own right, a sorceress, sorry. She's a powerful sorceress in her own right, and I think the game kind of did her dirty just by making her a 7 with no ability. So I don't play, for that reason, I don't play her. But I do play the two main protagonists, Cyrilla, Fiona, Ellen, Rhiannon. Ciri, basically. She summons Roach from deck, and uh, she she's just a big points anyway. Even if you don't play Roach, she's still 15, and the same with Geralt of Rivia, your main guy of the main protagonist of Witcher 3. They are very powerful cards, and I really enjoy playing. I really enjoy playing Gwent. So as for units, that is currently it for the most part. Now we're going on to our power cards. Now I have 1, 2, 3, 7, 8. I've got 8, and you can play up to 10. Now the two missing, I have they're all in this part of the deck, but I can't really choose which cards to play. I would either pick Biting Frost if you're playing against monsters, so I'll play 2 of them, or Clear Weather if you're very nervous about weather cards. Weather cards basically drag all your units down to 1, except heroes because they're unaffected. Or Skellige Storm because that affects 2 rows. So that's kind of broken. But if you're going against monsters, you don't want to see it because monsters play in the attack row, and Scoia'tael focuses mainly on switching. It does affect Nilfgaard because they like their archers and their reborns. But yeah, Nilfgaard can be quite horrible to deal with sometimes. Skellige, with the Skellige Storm as well, they kind of play around it because they can put a leader card that can dodge it. But yeah, I'm yapping. So any two weather cards, whatever you think is best. I'll leave it up to the imagination. But the must-ofs are going to be 3 decoy. No matter what, always play 3 decoy. Because there is nothing better than putting down a decoy, picking up a power card, putting the power card back down. So with your spies, if your opponent uses it, you can pick up your opponent's spy and then use it. That's why I don't like Avalok, because Avalok you can't pick up with this, but you can pick up with Tala, Dijkstra, any Nilfgaard spy, and the prince in the Northern Realm. You can keep picking them up, send it to your opponent, and keep drawing. It's insane. And you can also do that with reborn units. So I know Nilfgaard and Scoia'tael focus on reborns, so you can just go that and just keep reborning from your grave, which is insane. Always play 3 decoy. Even in the new format, I think decoy is like the best card. Going on to my other 3 of Commander Horn. The Commander Horn does the exact same thing as Dandelion, but you get to pick which row you can double. So if you can play Commander Horn in your back row, which is actually really good in this deck because it usually focuses on the back row. But for this style, I'm focusing on draw power, which is what it's mainly doing. And then you're boosting your unit boosters. And then you've just got also Hero Beast sticks, which is also nice. and you just keep going. And my last two cards, I'm playing two Scorch for those pesky monster cards, especially because if they summon vampires, they're kind of protected from it because one of those vampires are 5 and the rest are 4, which you usually pop with your dragon. He's in there somewhere. I can't be bothered to look. Usually pop with your dragon, but be careful. If you play Scorch and you have the highest attack unit with this one because it hasn't got the horns, but you can play at any time though. But if you've got the highest unit and you play Scorch, your card gets popped, unless it's a hero. It's not really that. It's so you have to be careful when playing Scorch. I've done it too many times. I've recovered, but it has cost me the game once or twice when I was first starting because I was like, I'm gonna pop your unit, and then I see my dragon go, and I'm like, oh, crap. Anyway, that's my special cards. So yeah, +2 are weather cards of any kind. Now, lastly, I have my leader card. Now, with this one, since I'm focusing on draw power, my thing with this is I don't play clear weather because my leader is a clear weather at any time. Most people I know who play this deck prefer the other leader who can play a commander horn to your back row, because this back row in Northern Realms is insane. It is, but I find it kind of bricky, and if your player plays Torrential Rain or Skellige Storm, everything becomes 2 and nothing happens. I prefer for a more consistent build where if anyone plays any weather card that I find problematic, I can just play Foltest, Lord Commander of the North, clear any weather effects in play. I think that's the best card, the best leader card, apart from Nilfgaard and Emir, that cancels the leader card. If anyone plays that, you're kind of stuffed. Anyway, so maybe in video, this is what I would play in video for game format, but in the competitive scene, I don't know how many people are playing Nilfgaard. I don't know. I've not been to an event, but this is just a bit of fun for me. Anyway, with that is my Northern Realms deck list for Gwent. Hope you enjoyed. I have a lot of fun playing this deck, and I hope you do too. See you in the next video.